Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB. And we're here this morning to judge the latest midweek car competition, which ran from the 4th to the 10th of March 2021. Just before I hand over to the lawyer this morning, once again, massive congratulations to last week's winner of the midweek car competition, Willis Jones, winning a brand new BMW M2 competition and £30,000. I'd now like to pass over to Charlotte Houston from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
My name's Charlotte Houston from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company Assets. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning. My name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
Hi, I'm Jenna Scalacci, former professional footballer. I'm now a head coach on a Tottenham women's programme.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years, and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Good morning. My name is Roger Wheeler. I'm a referee, and I have been refereeing and lining for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Matthew Ray. I've affiliated in multiple counties across England, currently in Gloucestershire, and have refereed from grassroots through to professional academies.
Hi, my name's Renee Hector and I play football for Watford FC Women, and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
Good morning. My name's Andy Braithwaite and I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
Hi, my name is Eric Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, firstly as a player and then as a referee.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and I'm now a senior county referee.
Good morning, my name is Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, a tutor and observer.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Good morning, Matt.
We've got quite an interesting picture, and I think there's division between the judges' choices. There's 5 on one side of what the calculated average is, and 5 on the other side. Be interesting to see individual opinions of what they think's happening. The 4 players in shot, there's 2 that look like they're involved. I'd say involved in this ball, and there's 2 players on looking at the back. The player in black seems to be trying to hold off the player in maroon. I had sort of 2 opinions of it. To my mind, I thought the player in maroon looked like he may have just headed it. His head's forward. And with the black player looking at it sort of coming over his head. And I've gone slightly further to the left than everybody. But let me draw some lines up from this player. This player, we've got 2 really good eyes on here. You can see he's got a bit of white under his left eye. So that's why I went a little bit steeper. And then we've got arrows out to the right. And then from this player in maroon over here, let's put them in orange. We can see really just one eye. And we've got, again, arrows is slightly higher there. And we've got a sort of cluster of people slightly lower. So it's a fairly big spread right to left, or left to right, so we're looking at the picture. Ari, I'll take you first. You're furthest over to the right of the judges' choices. How did you see this photo and what did you think was happening?
Thanks, Matt. Well, I felt that, the 2 players up front in the picture, they are the ones challenging for this one. I felt that the player in black is the one. He looks fairly comfortable with this positioning, and I think he's in control because he's trying to prevent the player in maroon to invade his space with his left arm, trying to hold the player in maroon, and he has a clear view to the ball, in my opinion. And player in maroon, I think he just shifted his head he tilted from left to right, and while doing that, he blinked. So he's partially, you can see that his eyes are partially closed. So, and I can, when I zoomed on his eyes, I saw a bit of the white below, and which indicates me that he was looking slightly higher. So that's why when
Oh, you mean from the player in maroon?
Yes, over there you see a lot of the white below, which tells me that he's looking slightly up, not directly, almost horizontal.
Okay, I mean, I'll clarify that because I've magnified this here and I can only see white behind his pupil. So,
yeah, exactly. So that tells me that he's looking up. If you don't see the iris, it's because he's looking up.
Okay, because looking at the other player, I would suggest that you can see white underneath the pupil. So
underneath, yeah, exactly, underneath. Yes. So he's looking up, and the other one is exactly the same.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Even though he doesn't have his eyes fully open, but by seeing that, it indicates to me that he's looking slightly up.
Okay, just to clarify,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, sure. You think the ball is yet to be played?
Yes, he's yet to be played. He just turned his head, and he's trying to invade his space. He's trying to get closer, and the play in black, he's in control. In my opinion, he looks very comfortable. Yeah. He's very focused at looking at the ball.
Yeah, thanks. I only wanted to clarify that because when the players of this competition look at the judging videos, and believe me, they do, we have differing opinions. I mean, I think the play. So it's very important to explain that fully. That's why I asked you.
My reading of the picture is it's that he just I feel that he just tilted his head one side to the other. And while doing so, he blinked, and when the photographer just took the picture.
Okay, thank you, Renee. You're just to the left of Ari's choice here. I'll highlight yours. Yeah. How have you seen this photo?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to see how the ball's played. One thing I think I am certain of is that the ball has been played from the right of our screen towards the left, because as you can see, the player in black and the two players behind. As well, their body positions are facing obviously to the left, looking like they're going to start running that way. So I think the player in maroon has headed the ball just because of the squint, just the body position. He's led slightly back so that it looks like his head has come through the ball, and his cheeks are ever so slightly puffed up. Yeah. So I think he's actually headed the ball, almost cleared it, and it's going over the player in black's head. Yeah. And I just basically, I went mainly with the player in black's eyes, and I just felt like he was obviously looking pretty steeply, but it didn't look like the ball was necessarily imminent, like right above his head, because he does look quite relaxed. So that's why I went with my cross there.
Yeah, Rennie, I agree with absolutely every word you said. You just put it a lot better than I did, so thank you for that. We'll go to Nigel. You're ever so slightly the lowest of this sort of little cluster of three. How did you see the photo? And please do expand as Rennie's done on what you think, whether the ball's been played or not played. I think this is going to be quite important to this decision today.
Yeah, I did see it. Very similar to Rennie. I thought she put it perfectly. That the player in red has played the ball. I feel that they're not that much higher than the players in the background. So I think they've probably jumped and they're on the way down. That's kind of how I see it. But that the Reds headed it back over. The blue player is watching it sail over. He's also not looking directly parallel, he's looking forward. So I think again we've got a three-dimensional picture here where the ball is closer to us than certainly the blue player, possibly the red as well.
Yeah.
I looking in at the eye lines, I did see it differently to Ari in terms of the player in red. I feel he's looking pretty much directly straight out from his head, 90 degrees to his face. I felt definitely the player in blue's looking up quite steeply. His eyes are looking in, for me, they were looking in slightly different directions, which indicated to me that, his focus was on the ball that was very close to him. And, obviously, we're trying to find the centre of that. And I think I sort of pretty much dropped in the centre of the two sight lines you've got there for the player in blue.
Yeah, thank you. As I said before, from the calculated average, we've got sort of 5 above and 5 below. So I think that's okay. Thank you. Kieran, you're just above Nigel's. Have you seen it the same, slightly differently?
Yeah, no, thanks, Matt. More or less the same, I think. I mean, I've looked at the player in black, and I think his eyes are definitely focused on the ball more. And I've taken most from his eyes, not as much from the player in maroon. I think we've got an eye line in between where you've put the two lines that where the calculated average is. I think he's definitely looking on that line. It's just a matter of how far away the ball is from him.
Yeah.
It's questionable whether the player in maroon is headed the ball for me. I mean, to my mind, the player in black is holding off the player in maroon coming towards him. I think because he's leaning his head behind his body, that to me doesn't indicate somebody's just headed the ball. I'm suggesting the player in black is going to try and play the ball, and his mouth is sort of closed and he's focused intently on the ball. So I possibly saw it that he might play the ball. But otherwise, I agree with what other people have said.
Great, thank you. And I'll go straight to you, Andy. You're just above Kieran, so we can. Well, I'll do the sort of the south of the calculated average now. So Andy, you're up here. How did you look at this?
Thanks, Matt. I think that the guy in black, I've taken my centre of the ball position from his eye line. I think he's looking quite steeply, and he looks very intent on the ball. The guy in claret to the right, I feel that he's looking a little bit flatter, and he may even have been looking at the guy rather than the ball. I certainly don't think he's looking at the centre of the ball. So again, that's why when I drew my lines previously, I've gone slightly below where I've placed my centre of the ball, just literally because probably as Kieran's has mentioned there, I feel the guy in black is sort of fending him off, and he's sort of like looking at the player stroke at the ball for that split second, but I don't think he's looking at the centre of the ball. So my centre is taken from the guy in black looking up in that direction.
Yeah, no, thanks. I think there's 5 of us in that line. But do you think the ball's yet to be played or has been played?
To be perfectly honest with you, Matt, sometimes we get a little bit carried away with where he's headed it, chested it, whatever. Again, we're all going to give different opinions, but I literally on this one just based it purely on where I thought the centre of the ball was. I didn't concentrate on whether I thought he'd headed it, was going to head it. I just looked at the guy in black's eyes and literally played it for where my centre of the ball is.
So you're sort of middle ground. You don't think it's he's right? Okay, that's fine because I have a little note sheet here of working out what people said. And lastly, Matthew, you're just to the right of me on this sort of line with Andy as well. How did you see the photo?
Yeah, I think I agree with Kieran and Andy's points. I really taken the eyes of the player in black. I think we've got 2 good eyes there to go off. I'm not sure where the ball has come from, but I think it's dropping in my opinion, to the player in black. I think he's going to run onto it. I think it is a bit closer to him because I don't think he's going to play it with his head. I think he would drop onto his knee or his boot, which is why I've got him looking at it, really focused on that ball, ready to run on. I've taken a flatter view of the player in claret. To get his eye line. I don't think it's as steep, and just intersected the 2 for the position of the ball.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hugh, I'll take you next. We'll just sort of go up a bit north from you, but you're closest to this calculated average. I'll highlight yours there. How have you seen this?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I don't think it's been played, just judging by kind of both their body shapes. I think, they're tussling for it. I think Kieran's, you said it before previously about players not being able to look through their own eyebrow. I think this guy on the right in maroon is kind of looking over his shoulder. So I think that's why, for me, the eye is so far to the side, because he is kind of straining to look behind him almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did take a lot from the player in black. Got 2 clear eyes, and you can see a lot of the whites. I think it is above him. Obviously, over to the right based on where pupils are.
Yeah, thank you. Because there is a line really up from this player through 6 choices, through yours, the three we've had from Nigel, Kieran, and Andy. And then Roger, you're also on that line up here. I'll just highlight yours. How have you seen this?
I had the two players challenging for the ball. I don't think it's been played yet. I felt the guy in black was sort of holding his ground, but trying to hold off. The red player was, if you like, more aggressively going for it, and I thought the black player was sort of trying to hold him off.
Yeah.
In terms of the eye lines, yeah, as previously everybody's said, I thought we had a good eye line from the player in black, which is why I put my cross there. The other guy, the red guy, yeah, he's pretty much looking straight out, I think, from his face shape.
Yeah, sure, great, thank you. And lastly, but not least, Jenna. What is your opinion of this? You're sort of just at really the top of this sort of group of like, let's say 7 choices in quite a narrow band.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the ball had been played yet. I felt the guy in black, I took a lot from his eye line and his body positioning. For me, his body looks like he's on the move, and he's going to run onto the ball as it drops. I felt he was holding the guy off in maroon, but I think a few have said I don't think it's been played, and I think he's getting ready for the ball to come down and running onto that ball.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So we've got, there's half of the people, half of the choices don't believe the ball's been played. One's dropping in, that's Matthew. Andy's sitting on the fence, and 3 of us thinks he's played it. So it's quite a neat split. And it's interesting because sometimes when you think players say headed the ball, you'll have a group of people with the same opinion. But today I'm of the same opinion as Rennie, and we're sort of equidistant either side of this calculated average. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to draw some more lines up from this player with a sort of a narrower band. And if you could just bear with me, if you will. I think that becomes quite a narrow choice if then I take myself, Matthew, and Ari. So we get quite a narrow band up from this guy in black. Obviously the spread's still fairly wide from this player in maroon. It slightly narrows. And what I've listened to is, I think the majority of us have looked at the player in black with his eyes and have taken a lot of the information from his eyes and his gaze up. And this player, the differing opinions of whether the player's headed the ball, which is why I think he's got his eyes closed, or as Ari said, he may well just be blinking with the photograph, which is obviously a valid situation to think about. I just think that I am more comfortable with this calculated average here. You see, we put over us, and it pretty much encompasses all. There's a few sort of the sides crosses of sticking out, but I think it's ultra important with this player looking up that the majority of the choices are within a narrower sight line from this player in back. I mean, I'll put myself and Matthew back in, and you see it takes it a little bit further out to the left, which I'm loath to do. And obviously we've taken Ari out, put Ari back in. Again, it pulls it back into the right. But I think Rennie's choice balances the choices here. So we've really got one in the middle, which is Hughes, and sort of 3 the side on both top and bottom. So I'd like to progress to a panel vote initially to remove myself, Ari and Matthew to get this narrower band. And obviously that's one decision. If we have, I'd also ask you to say, no, actually, I want to leave X in, and then we can maybe have a longer debate about that. So I will go with the 3 of us removed. Jenna?
Yeah, I agree with the 3 remove. I think it's a nice tighter band there.
Thank you. Nigel?
Yes, Matt. Well judged. I support that as well. I think the ball's in a credible position where the cross is there, and covers our policy that we always try and have the circumference around it covering the crosses.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Roger?
Yeah, I would agree exactly what Nigel has said. Actually, we're they're 5 are well over, and got 2 on the edge there, touching pretty well. So yeah, I support that, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. I know I've removed you, but I'd value what you'd say.
No, happy with that. I think it's a good cluster, and they all match the eye line of the player in black. So happy with that.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah, I think Sid we was all pretty confident on the eye line with the player in black, but we wasn't quite sure on the player with maroon. I'm happy for that narrow band from the player in black.
Yeah, and thanks for that little bit, because that's important. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I agree with that average.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ari.
Yeah, he looks very sensitive to me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kieran.
Yes, I agree with what Renee said exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, and lastly, Hugh.
Yeah, goes back to the old. It's got to be within the cluster. And that's the average for me.
Great, lovely, thank you. So Charlotte, after a good debate, we decided to judge at the average with myself, Matthew, and Ari's choices removed to bring the calculated average into sort of a quite a narrow band from the black player's eyes into a good cluster.
Thank you, Matt. If you're all happy, then please click submit. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 1597 and 1085. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company Assets to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.